later on, but we're all flying by the seat of our pants right now because we didn't expect Vince McMahon to retire today. So it's kind of thrown this whole podcast for a loop, to be honest.
I mean, I don't really know how to concentrate, how to focus on the fact that Vincent Kennedy McMahon, not the Vince McMahon character. This is the legitimate CEO or whatever he fucking was, the head of creative, whatever. He's fucking done.
Gone forever. Or is he gone forever?
Or
so if you guys don't know,
because my thing is, did Vince McMahon did Vince McMahon retire or did Vincent Kennedy McMahon retire? Like, did you know what I mean? Like,
what's the difference?
There's a character and then there's the person.
Well, it's Mr. McMahon is the character.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It's always Mr.
So Mr. McMahon didn't retire, but Vince McMahon did. So that means Mr. McMahon's going to come out of nowhere and challenge Roman Reigns for the title, and we have a new fucking undisputed champion.
Quite possibly. So if you guys don't know, around 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time, Vince McMahon tweeted, I guess I should probably pull up the official tweet.
Verbatim,
because we are an official podcast here.
Air quotes.
So at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time, at 77, time for me to retire. Thank you. WWE Universe, then, now, forever, together. Hashtag WWE, hashtag thankful. 47,000 retweets, 32,000 quote tweets, and 254,000 likes. So this just set the wrestling world and, kind of the sports world ablaze. Shout out Dallas Braden. Welcomed his third kid.
Fuck you, Dallas.
Wow. And this lovely time. Can't we just...
Congratulations, Mama
Braden.
Mama Braden, but
fuck Dallas.
But fuck Dallas.
So yes, Dallas Braden did not retire, but Vince McMahon did retire. If you've been listening to the wrestling portion, he's been embroiled in a scandal. I guess you can call it a sex scandal. He's been investigated, and what's the name? Who's the guy who came out on Monday? Help me out here, Dominic.
Came out.
Not like us. Not came out like us.
Oh, hey, you better watch that. You better watch
Titus O'Neil.
O'Neil.
Thank you, Dominic. On Monday, did the whole WWE isn't about politics and about divisive comments, and we're just here to entertain and put smiles on people's faces, which was very weird at the moment. And then now we're here on Friday. In the morning, it came out that Triple H regained his role as executive vice president of talent relations. And then Vince comes out and retires. So a lot of moving parts in the last couple hours. And now Vince retires, a point we thought would have never happened. We didn't think he was going to retire. I think a lot of us thought he was just going to either die in the chair or he wasn't going to be healthy enough to run it. Yeah. So he was going to get the power taken away from him, but he is officially retiring. Now, we don't know what this means in terms of the structure. Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan are going to be co-CEOs of the company. I have not watched SmackDown. I've seen some things on Twitter that maybe there's some little things that have changed up. But Dominic, your first reaction when you saw it, I know I put it in the group chat and kind of talked about it as soon as it happened. So what did you think about when you first saw the tweet?
Well, at first I kind of thought it was one of those fake accounts, because you've done that before to where, when it first happened, you sent the Linda McMahon Tinder profile.
And Dominic thought it was legit.
100% thought it was legit, because I didn't really look at the name. I just saw an old lady and I'm like, bro, get it. And then after I looked it up, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So at first I was kind of like, oh, Vince isn't retiring. And then I started watching all the floodgates just of, some people being like, thank you, everything you've done, blah, 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 to the, you fucking piece of shit, you deserve to fucking be arrested and shit, like all that kind of nasty shit. So, basically, I don't know how you feel, but I will say thank you, Vince. I think if it wasn't for him, there'd be a lot of wrestlers today that, would not have been household names. A Stone Cold, he would not be. If Vince did not invest in Stone Cold Steve Austin, he would not be the wrestler and the main event, the traction, the everything he was today. You give that to Vince. You give that to that because you give him Undertaker. You give him, I mean, there's a laundry list of characters, personas, gimmicks, whatever you want to call it. That is all because of Vince, and you have to give him that credit. So I have to say thank you for that. I'm not thanking him for the scandals. I'm not thanking him for being a dirtbag. I'm not thanking him for anything like that. But all the positive things he's done, I will say thank you for that.
So yeah, sitting here in 2022, Vince has a complicated legacy, and it's kind of hard to put it all together in just a couple sentences, but he's by far and away the most important figure in pro wrestling.
Yes.
He, going back almost 40 years to him, turning pro wrestling from this regional territory type system into a national, global, multi-million, billion-dollar corporation. Yeah. The first WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, and turning that into, what WrestleMania is today.
Roman Reigns versus Brock wrestling.
Well, but
oh, look at this! We got a special guest.
Shout out the mascot and mini mascot. You trying to say what's up? No, I think she just we've had pizza, and I think she just continues to think there's food around. Mm-hmm. But because somebody ate all their food, you have a comment to say about that, sir? No comment. But yeah, the story and the legacy of Vince is a complicated one. I mean, you can kind of chop it up, and I would say this aspect, this past 2-3 months, would probably be the biggest story in wrestling, like third biggest story in wrestling history. You go back to Vince first gaining power, the WrestleMania years would be the first one, and then possibly the most important one to the Attitude Era. And him and WCW, and then now, I mean,
then Chris Benoit.
I guess if you want to talk about Chris Benoit, you can talk about that. But now we have this point in time where we didn't think would ever really happen. As we said, we didn't think he would actually retire, kick it in. I mean, we thought if he was going to give it up, it would be him kicking and screaming. And it is very early on.
Don't know,
we don't know what exactly has gone on backstage, but it is interesting, as we said, the Titus O'Neil stuff. Then Triple H gaining his position back.
I'm yawning because I'm tired, not because you're boring.
Oh yes, I hope so. But
I forgot we're on video, so I gotta really be
you gotta kayfabe it.
Yeah.
So what? The Triple H thing would have been news by itself. We might have talked about it, but now that the Vince stuff came out later, what do you think is gonna happen now with the company overall? I mean, I don't think we're gonna see widespread change quickly. But Stephanie and Triple H are a couple. They have experience. They probably have their own vision. But then Nick Khan is the co-CEO. He has his own. He's more of the straight business guy. Stephanie is kind of a combination of wrestling and business. And Triple H is more of the wrestling guy. But that just because he is the wrestling guy, and I think both of us would say he's most fit to be the next Vince McMahon, doesn't mean he's going to be the next Vince McMahon.
Well, I mean, because I was actually thinking it's probably a better idea to have Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon as your co-CEOs, because of the fact that I think honestly, first and foremost, there's a McMahon as a CEO, so there's always will be that McMahon name somewhere attached to it. Second off, like you said, Nick Khan, he's probably ready to sell everything left and right and just make off like a madman. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he likes the company and everything like that. But having Vince step down, Stephanie take over with Nick Khan, and then having Triple H be your vice president of talent relations, I think maybe gives the next generation or two hope that, being able to get to that level of a WWE is possible, and not having to fit the prototype of John Cena, of a Brock Lesnar, of a Batista, of a Shawn Michaels, or Triple H. You have to be 6'2", 265, pure muscle, jacked, or you have to be 5'11" and be able to do backflips and flippy doos. So it's I think a good pairing all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be super interesting to see what happens. I mean, like the Kevin Dunns, Bruce Pritchards, those people who are just so closely tied to Vince. And then when Triple H was the guy down in NXT, he kind of had his own group and, grooming or kind of preparing, whatever you want to call it, had his own people that he had in the same positions that you could just bring up if and when he ever, gained that power.
Yeah.
And we don't know what kind of power he has right now, but it will be interesting to say what happens to Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, all those different types of people.
John Laurinaitis.
And John Laurinaitis, which has been tied to the Vince sex stuff. And I mean, we both, loved the NXT product, NXT 1.0 back in the day. And now Triple H is kind of back in the business. And I am hoping that he gets a little more power and we get to see his vision. But, SummerSlam's just around the corner. WrestleMania, I would assume there's still, big plans in place that WWE is going to have, and they're not going to want to stray from that. But I wouldn't be shocked if we see some like little differences and some, I mean, even just, was it Jimmy Smith, the guy on Raw, the lead announcer, he like started growing his facial hair, which is like a little thing.
Yeah.
But all commentators on WWE don't have facial hair.
Nope.
And so just because Jimmy Smith was able to grow out his facial hair, that's just like a little tiny thing that kind of showed that Vince was losing power, or he was able to just get past that because of Vince not having enough power. So I think things are going to change in WWE. And I know me personally, I've been down on the WWE product and kind of Vince's vision and the Colt speak and everything of that nature. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say just because he's gone, everything's going to change in a, overnight. Who knows what Stephanie's vision is and if she wants
what if it's worse?
Yeah, I mean, that's an honest question. Like we just don't know. Nobody has ever seen in a WWE without Vince McMahon. And so we could think and say, oh, Vince is such an out of touch old man. He's not, once he leaves, it's going to be so much better, but that's not a given. So with Stephanie, let's just say it's like a power triangle of Stephanie, Nick, and Triple H. Where does that go? And also a lot of people have negative things to say about Vince McMahon. Does that kind of open the door for people like on the indie scene or in AEW to go to WWE because they know what they're getting into with Vince. But if the next 6 months kind of show that it's a different culture, it's a different type of atmosphere, then maybe, AEW isn't going to have its pick of the litter on the indie scene because people can think they can go to WWE and thrive there because they don't have to have a certain type of look or have to adhere to one person.
I want to say yes, because I'm kind of thinking like, oh, I mean, it's kind of a different situation, but I mean, if AT&T came and knock in, hell, hey, everything's different now, give us a chance, I would probably try it, give him a chance, and see what it's all about, because it is a lot more money than I'm making now and all that kind of stuff. So I would say yes, with if Stephanie, Nick, Triple H, everyone there can prove to the fans it's going to be different, but yet still provide a entertainment filled show, and then prove to the performers we're going to take care of you and not put you in these classifications with glass ceilings that can't be broken. I think companies like AEW are going to be screwed.
Damn. So Vince, I mean, what do you think his process was like? I mean, we've kind of skirted around and haven't talked about the allegations. I still think there is going to be more to come, because I don't think he would have just stepped away. Like, not saying that the last round was bad. It was bad.
Oh, terrible.
But I mean, with the Titus stuff and kind of everything leading up to this point, it was like maybe the Wall Street Journal kind of contacted him for comment, and he kind of saw the writing on the wall, or the board was like, look, Vince, this isn't good. Either we're going to kick you out or you can go peacefully. And he decided to retire.
Yeah.
So, we're here day one of Vince leaving. Can
someone unretire?
Yeah. We've seen it before, even in this podcasting realm. Yeah, name redacted. We see you saying you're never going to podcast again. It's not exactly
Little
for
bitch.
you, and then you just go off and do your old podcast. But what do you? I mean, the Vince side of things.
Yeah.
Do you think that was him doing quote unquote what's best for business, or do you think we'll get another Wall Street Journal article of just like a massive bombshell that's just like he's canceled Bill Cosby, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein type, where it's like, Jesus, it's like, what the fuck?
I really hope not. I really hope not. I don't, not that I would be surprised, but I just don't want it to happen. Like, it's already bad enough he paid these women, hey, here's, 100,000, whatever, how much money it was. I know it's a shit ton of money, but like, it's already bad enough he did that. I don't need him coming out that, he did some hate speech during sex with some hooker. And,
shout out Hulk Hogan.
I don't need that, and I don't want that, and I don't wish that upon him. So, pray to Jesus, Vince, or whoever you believe in.
Now you've asked the question: could someone unretire? It was kind of weird that there was rumblings, or I guess just outright reportings, that Brock Lesnar just left SmackDown and said, "If he's gone, I'm gone." Brock actually ended up coming back, or whatever it was. It might have been
there the whole time.
Yeah, it might have been just a plant or a swerve or something. But could Vince start his own promotion, do his own thing? Bring Brock along. He could control his narrative. Like, is this?
That would be fucking crazy if he showed up on Control Your Narrative. I'm just saying.
But what?
That'd be fucking crazy.
Are we gonna ever see Vince again? Because
yes,
Stephanie showed up, did the opening monologue, and kind of did the whole "Thank you, Vince" chant. Like, unless there is that like Wall Street Journal report that is like a bombshell,
he'll be back.
Do you just think we're 100%. gonna see him back at like a Hall of Fame speech, or
he will be Mr. McMahon character will be inducted, just like they inducted all the other evil pedophilia driven wrestlers in the world. Care to comment?
I mean, not really. Vince McMahon has his fair share of scandals, not just with the hush money payments, the Jimmy Snuka stuff, the rape allegations from the 80s, the ring boy stuff from the early 90s. Yep. And I mean, what is that, like a 25, almost 30-year gap in between, besides kind of the hush money payments? So who knows what else type of stories are going to come out.
So I think Mr. McMahon character will be inducted. I still think, as long as it's not, even if that bombshell does come out, as long as it's not a like, oh my fucking God kind of thing. Because like right now we're all kind of like numb. It's kind of like, oh, another girl came forward. Oh, great. What happened this time? Oh, he, had sex with her 3 times.
But if they had it a 4th time, oof. That takes it over the top.
But, if it, like I said, but if it turns out to be a legit bombshell where like everyone's kind of taken back, like, holy shit, then you might have to wait till he's dead.
And honestly, like, we don't know how long that would have been, because it seems like he's
a healthy motherfucker.
It seems like he's in good health. Ooh. I mean, I think his mom or something like lived into his 90s, and honestly, it's not yet? No, we're not done. It's not a shock that someone in their 90s could be alive and coherent. So if this stuff didn't take place, we could have been in a world where Vince was still in power for the next 10 plus years. But here at 77, no more Vince. When do you think like we're gonna see change? Like, I know we haven't seen SmackDown. There might be some little changes, but do you think we'll see like a big full-fledged change at SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, or is it just gonna be like a gradual like drip, and then we step back 2 years from now and be like, oh, like there's so much difference now?
I think you're gonna have to wait. Do I think it's gonna happen overnight? No. Granted, maybe they have.
So you're telling me we're not going to get Slipknot as the opening theme for Raw on Monday?
Oh, kiss you on the lips if that happens on Raw.
Or Poppy, a live performance of Poppy.
Slipknot or Poppy live on Raw this Monday. I'll kiss you on the lips again. I'll make out with you. I'll French kiss you.
Write it down, everybody. Petition. Tell Triple H, Poppy or Slipknot on Monday.
Live performance. Remember, live. Can't be a recording. Has to be live.
And then we'll have a live sex celebration.
Yes.
Hopefully the video works. So we just shook hands.
I hope it doesn't. And then I could say audio trickery. You coerced me into saying that statement.
Anyways,
can we go home?
You are home.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
home.
know.
So this is definitely not the last of the Vince McMahon stuff.
Oh, we'll be talking about it for weeks.
We're going to be talking about it forever. It's going to be interesting, especially what SummerSlam looks like. Brock Lesnar's back, so I guess that match is still going to happen. But that's it for kind of the quote unquote normal part of the podcast. So
you're going to go to the jingle?
Yeah, I guess it is time to go to the jingle. Shout out the A's. They beat the Rangers. Today we are 1-0 or 2-1, sorry, in the second half.
Nice.
Shout out AJ Puck with the save. So let's get into the fan mail segment, otherwise known as
Mr. Hix's
and Friends.
Question of the week.
Bum. So